Hello, Caviar Dreamers.
Hi, Caviar Dreamers. We are live from our hotel room in Maryland.
Yes, here we are. Hello, Maryland.
Hello, Maryland. We had to come here because I had to see my doctor, Dr. Joseph Michaels, who's coming on today because he did my boob reduction and lift.
I'm very jealous.
They're amazing. I just want to show everybody. They're great. I have no bra. You know, you can't really see, but they're fabulous, and I just love them.
Now, we greeted you from the bed when you were still healing from the surgery, and you unzipped your little bra a little bit. So how's the recovery been?
The recovery's been great.
What was that, like 4 weeks ago?
4 weeks ago. The boobs are very perky.
They are.
They're all my own. No implants. They're fabulous. Dolores got her tummy tuck with him. He's an amazing plastic surgeon. I mean, Dr. Karolak did my face. Dr. Joseph Michaels did my boob lift and reduction because everybody knew I had like granny boobs. They were not attractive.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a full-blown recharge the Marge.
Yeah, I'm amazing from I say the tits up. I mean, tits down's a whole other story. But,
yeah. Do you think you would have done these things if you were not on the show, or do you feel like it was additional pressure because you are in the public eye?
I mean, I was a vain bitch prior to being on the show. I think it pushed me.
No, you were vain, not a bitch.
Yes, I think it pushed me to do it quicker. Prior to going on the show, I had my eyes done. But when you see I was at that age where your face was falling, and then it was impossible to get dressed. I was taping my boobs up. The skin was, the elasticity was gone. So I probably would have gotten a reduction and a lift anyway. But of course it pushes you when you're on camera, getting dressed, all the craziness. I mean, look at Dolores. Her tummy, I never thought she needed a tummy tuck.
No.
She looks amazing. And she hunted down Dr. Joseph Michaels. I was very lucky. And she's the guinea pig, and then I go in.
That's good. Well, I'm glad because now I'm going to do my boobs after this too.
Yes, it's life-changing. It makes you look thinner. It's so much easier to get dressed. I'm not sweating like a maniac under the boob. It's terrible.
And it's also for like health reasons, like having big knockers that are real and hanging to the ground is not that conducive to having a healthy back and a healthy posture.
I didn't have really great posture before. I just feel much better.
But then if I put my posture right, my boobs stick out 10 feet ahead of me. So it's not a good thing.
Yeah, mine are a little bit smaller, higher. Oh, excuse me. It's not the corona, people. I get tested twice a week.
No,
now that we're back to filming.
Well, I'm very happy to see the boobs.
Yeah.
I'm excited for people to see them on this season.
Yes, and Dr. Michaels is going to help a Caviar Dreamer today. We have an amazing Caviar Dreamer, aspiring plastic surgeon.
Yes, we're connecting people, making dreams come true.
And by the way, plastic surgery is also he does a ton of people who've had tremendous weight loss. And he gives them body makeovers because you have so much loose skin after weight loss. So we're going to hear all about that. And I'm trying to hear, did he always want to be a plastic surgeon?
Yeah. Is it scientific? Is it creative? Because I feel like you have to be able to look at someone and artistically judge their body too.
Yes. And I think it's great. So I'm so excited. So let's see who's on and what's going on. So I am so excited we have Dr. Joseph Michaels on.
Yep, someone who knows you very up close and personal.
Up close and personal. He knows the knockers and he knows Dolores up close and personal, and I'm so excited. Hi, Dr. Joseph Michaels.
How you ladies doing?
Good.
How are you?
We're so excited to have you on because we traveled very far to be with you, all the way from New Jersey to Maryland.
It's amazing, and then we have to actually do this so we can actually see each other's faces, because when you're here, you're in a mask, and it's so... I actually enjoy these better because I get to see my patients and actually get to see their faces as opposed to seeing a mask. So sometimes
or just their body parts.
Exactly. Well, that's true. That's true.
I know. Oh, your teeth are so white.
They look white. It's good lighting.
Oh, they look amazing. Such a nice
thank
smile.
You. I wish
I never got to see this guy smile. So perfect.
You've actually never seen my face actually in person.
only via Instagram, which is so crazy. So I just want everyone to know this guy does the best body makeovers. But with that being said, people fly in from everywhere to see you. I met a woman today at your office. She was in from Montana. She's been staying in Maryland for 2 weeks. People fly in from all over. Dolores and I came, she found you. She was like, you have to go to Dr. Joseph Michaels. You did her stomach, you did her flanks, you added meat to her butt. Now, I mean, it's unbelievable. You did my boobs, they're defying gravity. So I just want to say, did you always want to be a plastic surgeon?
No, it's funny. I was always, my architecture was one of my first, that was sort of my fallback plan. I guess I should say I always wanted to be a doctor. I always liked blood. I always liked cuts. I was always interested in like biology and things like that. So I really enjoyed science and things like that. I was definitely not a reader. I was definitely like a math science kid. And I like shapes. I'm definitely not like an artist. I never like I could draw, but I was never like great at doing like portraits or things like that. But I always like drawing buildings and shapes and abstract and things like that. And so, medicine definitely was, when I was in high school, I mean, that was my goal going into college and things like that. But architecture was sort of my backup plan, but I was sort of lousy at physics, and I sort of figured I needed to like know certain things to make all that happen. So, but it all ended up good. I can't complain.
No. So what was it when you were in medical school? You were like, all right, I'm going to do plastic surgery.
So, plastic surgery is really the only field in medicine where you can help someone not only physically, but also emotionally. And so, I was a psychology major. I was very into like the mind-body connection and how patients, feel is going to be really important to helping them in their outcome. Like when it came to disease, like if you got a bad diagnosis of cancer, like if you thought you were going to die, like you were going to die, if you were a fighter, that you would be able to, motivate and get through. So that mind-body connection was always really important to me. And I originally got into plastic surgery because I wanted to do breast reconstruction. So it was really important for me to have women, when they, getting the diagnosis of breast cancer, losing a breast is probably, breasts are one of those sort of anatomic defining features of a woman. And so yes. it's very obviously distressful. My mom had breast cancer. And so, having a woman wake up with a breast after they had their mastectomy was really important to me. I thought that was very, good for their psyche. And obviously, so that's sort of what got me into plastics. I saw one of those procedures when I was in med school, and I just was very, that whole mind body, helping someone physically, but also helping them mentally. It all just sort of really, clicked for me. So that's sort of how I originally got into plastics. And unfortunately, my mom passed away of breast cancer.
Sorry.
So, for me, it was a little too emotionally charged. So I sort of veered a little bit away from that. And then I got into body contouring and after weight loss surgery. And it was the same thing. It was the same thing whether you were a mother whose body has changed after having multiple kids and you just don't feel the same about yourself, or to some of my patients who have lost hundreds of pounds, they just don't feel like a normal person. And so being able to sort of take out that loose skin, correct the things that are bothering them, and just sort of making them feel like they did before those processes happened, was just really unbelievably rewarding. I mean, it's great to love what you do, and it's great, you're a patient, Dolores is a patient. I mean, you guys are just you guys were both unbelievably confident beforehand, and I'm sort of scared to see what's going to come, in the future, because it's like confidence on steroids.
I know. Joe's mad at me that I go out. I'm like constantly now without my bra. He's like, put a bra on. I'm like, Joe, they're new. I don't want to touch my scars on this. He's like, you used to stick your boobs out before. Now they're like always out. He's like, relax.
That's it, Doctor. You created the Frank and Marge.
I know.
It's all over.
I know. And Dolores is wearing her half shirts. I mean, she's out and about. I mean, you
got the Marge Melons. I mean, you got more names for these things than
you did the Marge Melons. I mean, but it is because I felt like I had the granny boobs. No, I love the emotional factor that you just said, because people always make it out like you're a vapid, shallow bitch if you get plastic surgery. And I think you touched on the important part, that there is an emotional thing, and it is your psyche. And, in this society, women, you are attached to your looks more than men, because men, you could be big, fat, bald, and old. And if you have a deep pocket, you land in some hot babe and you feel amazing. I don't know how men have this bravado, no matter what the fuck they look like, truthfully, right?
They call it character.
Yes, they call it character. But women,
we're berated if we try and look good, and we're berated if we let ourselves go, so to speak. So for me, I think you just got to make yourself happy and feel good in yourself. There's no shame in upping your game.
No, and I love that you do that, and especially that you're you start out because your mom had breast cancer, but also with your weight loss patients. I mean, that's a big deal. Women who lose so much weight. But the thing about your plastic surgery, that you're so good at it, you are known like that belly button. A tummy tuck. I have other friends that have had tummy tucks, and I'm going to be honest, their belly buttons look horrible and freaky. You know a tummy tuck coming and going a lot of times on the beach.
You definitely can.
By the belly button. Now, I've seen your belly buttons. They do not look like tummy tuck belly buttons. Was that something that you hyper-focused on?
Well, it's funny. I'm going to be honest. The answer is sort of no. I mean, I've been doing this I'll tell you. So Instagram has definitely changed my game. I mean, I will tell you. But the belly buttons I've been doing for a long time, sort of the same way. And, it really wasn't until people sort of either saw it or saw other belly buttons that they didn't like that they sort of honed in on like my belly buttons. And so, I've been honestly doing them. I do things a little bit different. So sometimes some people want a little more vertical. Some people want a little more round, and I'll sort of try and tailor it a little bit to what they want. But I've been honestly doing it the same way and didn't really realize how big of a deal it was until people started telling me it was a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal.
But it's funny because, I put up a picture once. It was one of my weight loss patients, and I did a body lift, a breast lift with augmentation. She looked amazing. She was wearing, she had, her bikini lines there. And, someone posted a picture, I posted the picture and someone said, your incisions aren't even on either side. And I was like, God, this girl looks great. Like it really frustrated me. And so I sort of walked away and, I sort of, you never send an angry email or text. You can write it, but you never hit send.
Yes.
So I walked away.
That's a housewife.
I usually write it. I don't send it, but so I came back and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, they're right. One side was, and I'm like, look, if I'm going to play in this arena, I got to up my game. So, I use a level now. I mean, I think I brought a level out for you when I was measuring where your nipples were going to be in height. I mean, so yeah, I mean, Instagram and other things have really sort of like changed how I do things, from that standpoint, because, let's face it. I mean, it's just like you said. I mean, this is just like with female images, the same thing with what I do. I mean, you put up a bad picture and someone sees it and like, this guy stinks. And they move on to like the next person. Instagram, social media and everything is really great. But by the same token, I think you see it and we see it where we're almost creating this level of perfectness, which is really not there because people filter, people do things, I mean, and so, on my site and when I try and be as honest and obviously I don't Photoshop and I don't filter any of the pictures that I take. Obviously I sometimes see some patients' pictures and if I think they look a little done, I won't post them. But, I think that, unfortunately, like social media is amazing. Look, it's been very good to me. It's obviously been very good to you in reality and this and that. But it is creating this sort of false sense of perfectness. And, I do have some concerns like with young women and other, seeing some of these things because, the last thing that I want, I have a young daughter and obviously I have a wife, I don't want to bring that home. I don't want my daughter to think that, you got to fix something you don't like. And, so, I think that social media is a challenge, but, by the same token, I mean, there's good and bad in everything, right?
Yes. I don't like when, when people start looking, everybody starts looking alike. That's the whole thing. And I think with you, because you do, which I like, you can do a face, but you really focus on bodies.
I do. I enjoy the body a little bit more. It's a little more forgiving.
I know. And it's just like, so that's what it is. But I feel like so many people, they get their nose done. Everybody's doing the same nose. Everybody for a while was looking just like a Kardashian. Things go in and out of fashion. People want that very round butt, right? Everybody's asking for a round butt. I don't like it when everybody starts looking alike.
I agree with you. But perky breasts never go out of style, right, Marge?
Perky boobs never go out of style.
Never.
No freaking way. That's the whole thing. Everybody wants perky boobs. I mean, that's a given. A flat stomach, perky boobs has been around, you know, since the age of time.
Oh my God. It's so weird how trends go. Like we were saying the other day, I grew up with looking at like the George Michael videos with like the supermodel. So everyone wanted long
That was like one of the best videos ever. Let me just tell you.
Ever. But everyone wanted to be glamorous, leggy, tall, with little perky boobs. And it wasn't really the age of the big booty. Do you see your patients come in very trend driven, or it's more about what works for them?
You know, they're definitely, my practice isn't like that a little bit. I think, you know, certain patients gravitate to certain practices, and there are definitely certain practices that are more into, you know, performing like that kind of surgery. I get a little concerned when some patients come in and, you know, they want, like, I want, you know, a nose of, you know, this person or that. I mean, I think it's nice to have some, I mean, we've all done it. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like going to your hairstylist and you'd be like, I want to have this hair. It's like, well, you can't have that hair because your hair is straight and that person's, you know, it's, there's certain things that I think, you know, some patients have to have a little introspection a little bit. I think the one nice thing that I really love about, you know, Instagram and people connecting and things like that is that a lot of my patients like follow each other and connect with each other. And so, you know, because we're sort of not really outrageous on our, like, we don't find patients that are sort of going for what I would call sort of like
the crazy body.
It's not acceptable. It's just that, you know, I think patients understand that, like, I'm not going to make your butt look like, I don't make huge butts. Like, that's
you don't.
I like,
you have natural looking women.
Full, you know, and look, there's going to be different, you know, but there's doctors, you know, that are in parts of this country that, you know, it's all about, you know, how big of a booty you can make. And so I don't attract those kind of patients because either I turn them down or they just look at my website and they, so, you know, doctors sort of attract a little bit, at least plastic surgeons, you know, patients that are, you know, are sort of attracted to the work that they do. At least that's what I've found. And that's sort of nice. I mean, we have an unbelievable, amazing community of patients that have actually all sort of connected behind the scenes, like behind.
I saw that. Yeah, some of them.
I just sort of hope they all don't gang up on me one day.
No.
You know?
What is the most difficult procedure someone could? I know you do the weight loss, you do the whole mommy makeover, but like from the thigh lift to the tummy tuck to the boob lift, the under the arms, like what is the most difficult artistically procedure to perform on someone?
I mean, I think the body lifts, which are sort of like a tummy tuck, a buttock lift, and a thigh lift, it's sort of all in one. Just because it's so many moving parts, it can definitely be a little bit of a challenge. And for weight loss patients, you know, their skin is just not as good as it used to be. So, you know, sometimes no matter how tight we make them, they can have some loosening up afterwards. And you know, that can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge for the patient just to sort of, you know, deal with. And so sometimes we have to, you know, do some touch-ups and things like that. So, you know, that's probably the most difficult just because it's a long case also that they take like 8 hours. So that, you know, they're sort of physically demanding as well as, you know, but yeah, you know, I'm fortunate. I do, you know, I sort of only do the procedures I like doing now. So when, you know, back in the day I used to, not to be gross, but I used to put fingers back on if people had bad accidents. And, you know, I used to do a lot of, you know, crazier stuff. And, you know, as my practice has sort of grown, the stuff that I really didn't want to do anymore, I, you know, sort of stopped doing. So, you know, I'm very fortunate to really be able to sort of do what I love. And, you know, and it's like you know, you go to work and you're working and you're like, and I get paid to do this. This is great.
Yeah. Most days I feel that way. Other days I'm like, get me the hell out of here. You know, it depends who I'm.
Well, look, we all have those days.
Some days I'm just like, I'm going to blow my brains out. You know, certain days I feel amazing, and other days I'm like, get me the hell out of here. Yeah, so,
sure.
You know,
at least you're not the plastic surgeon in England that has to grow the penis. Have you seen this one? There's a guy growing his penis on his arm, and it has to be reattached.
Yeah, we did that once back in
You did?
Really?
We did that, like we grew a person's nose, like shaped their nose on their, who had, they had bad like cancer. So yeah, there's some pretty amazing stuff going on out there. And it makes being a plastic surgeon, I mean, you can do whatever you want in terms of sort of shaping your practice, but there's a lot of very cool things and procedures out there.
I know, which is good because you could really fix anything.
Mm-hmm.
To a degree. I mean, there's definitely surgeons, that, we definitely have a lot of fixes. We don't have fixes for everything, but, we definitely have, a pretty wide toolbox, and obviously different plastic surgeons have different trainings and backgrounds. But yeah, there's a lot that we can do for sure.
Have you ever turned anybody away?
I almost turned you down.
No, you didn't. You did not. I was like, look at these boobs. I was like, you were like, I got to take care of her. I can't let her go out in public like that.
Fortunately, again, we've been doing this a long time. We really attract, and we screen, and you've met the girls in my office.
Yes.
They're great at sort of getting a feel for the patient.
Oh my God, you have to like force your way in. You're very popular. I just want everyone to know that. I mean, there's like a wait list for you.
Thank you.
Well, no, big time.
Well, thanks. Well, we got bumped, COVID didn't help things.
No.
Yes.
COVID hasn't been good to the plastic surgery.
I'm honestly like really humbled with how, things are in my practice. And I sort of I never take it for granted because you never know what's going to happen. But, I'm always very appreciative. I had like amazing parents that, basically, you treat everybody the same, you treat them like family, and you sort of, just do well by everybody. You treat everybody the same, whether they're a celebrity or the janitor.
Yes, no, you are. You are so sweet. Your bedside manner is amazing, and that's what I love. Everybody who goes to, I just love that everybody flies in to see you because not everybody flies into a doctor. It was funny because people said to me, "You couldn't find a guy in New York or New Jersey." I was like, "No." Did you see Dolores? And then when I found you, I was like, "No, I'm totally driving to Maryland, and now I've been here a few times."
Exactly. Well, it's not that far. It's not that, but it's funny. I'll tell you. So I did Instagram for like a year and I almost bagged it. I was,
really?
So I originally got onto Instagram, I don't know, maybe like 4 years ago. I was operating with some colleagues. We were actually up in New York City. We were up at Lenox Hill Hospital, and I was operating with 2 colleagues on a former heaviest man in the world. Guy lost 600 pounds.
Ooh.
I'm like, well, I got to get on Instagram. I got to publicize this, So I did it. Nothing really happened. I did it for like a year. And, after like a year, I don't know, something clicked. We ended up operating on someone from People magazine. Someone found us and we found them. And it just sort of like spiraled. So it's sort of amazing how, like a week earlier, if I would have given up on Instagram, none of this would have
absolutely. It's time, and then people see you. And has anybody ever flown in from Europe?
We've had patients from Europe. We've had some patients from Asia. We've had some patients from Africa. We haven't had Australia yet. Although we have some patients that want to come here, but it's a little far. So yeah, we've had some patients from the Middle East. And then from a lot of states around, we have a ton of patients from New York, New Jersey, Philly. Yeah. And I don't really, it's funny. People think you're going from out of state, but it's a short drive. You came down, you go back. We don't keep, most of our patients don't even stay over, they stay a night or 2 at most. So the patients that are in the surrounding states, we sort of treat them as like long distance locals. Obviously patients that have to fly, they'll come in and stay about, usually about 10 to 12 days on average, depending on what they're doing.
Yeah, that's not bad. Now, so what do you think of shows like Botched? Did you watch Botched?
I do watch Botched, and they're both of them are really good surgeons, but I don't have a lot of time, and so when I would watch TV was when I would eat, and when I ate with my wife, she didn't want to see any of this stuff. Yes. So we never, I really sort of never got into it. But they do some pretty incredible work. And I think the other thing that they've done really well is sort of spoken to like the realistic expectations and how they do turn down a good number of people. I think that's important. I think that's important for people to see, about realistic expectations and also, that some of the decisions that they make, unfortunately, can, somewhat, not correctable. So, I think the show definitely has, some value. I think it definitely is, at least sort of open an eye to making people think twice about going out of the country. That not that you can't get good surgery out of the country, but just to really sort of do your homework and do your research and things like that. So I think that's obviously very important. And so if this show, whether you like the show or not, I definitely think that it's hopefully made people think a little bit more about their surgery, and that these are serious procedures. They're not nothing that should really be taken lightly, even though they are elective and things like that.
All right. So now we're going to ask you some superficial crap.
Yes.
Who do you, celebrity wise, who do you think has gone too far with some body plastic surgery?
Man, I wish I could tell you like I'm like up on this stuff. How about this? Why don't you throw me some names and then I'll like. So who's up on body surgery? I don't.
Like a Cardi B.
Yeah,
like Cardi B.
Well, I think, her big issue was that she did too much too early. I think if I recollect, like she had her plastic surgery and was like at a concert, days later. I mean, so, again, it's the thing that, we spoke about. I know you and I spoke about it, I mean, in terms of recovery, like you got, like, this is real surgery, you feel good and other things like that. But, you got to have and give yourself a real, recovery from these things. It's funny, the body surgery is a little tough because sometimes it's hard to tell who actually had it and who hasn't. I mean, I think the facial stuff is definitely a little more.
Is easier. Well, is there anybody you'd like to get your hands on?
Oh, man. It's funny. I mean, I don't know if she needs anything done, but I mean, I was really unbelievably impressed with Adele's weight loss.
Yes.
So,
yes.
She looks amazing.
You might have to have some skin stuff done. Maybe.
And so, I mean, I think she's on, honestly, she's an unbelievable talent, and she's, really made some, unbelievable changes in her life. So, Adele, if you're out there and you need plastic surgery for your skin, you give me a call.
Wait, can I tell you, I thought Adele, and this makes me feel sad, I thought she was so much more beautiful heavy.
I know. I
her
love
face.
Her face heavy too, because she's so beautiful.
She's, I think as long as she's happy.
You're right. You're right.
I think that people definitely
so stunning.
You definitely lose a little bit of fat everywhere. So, and some patients feel like they look a little bit younger when they're old, when they have more fat in their face versus not, I think, I don't know. I thought she, I haven't seen that many pictures of her. I mean, I think the one that stood out to me was the one I think she posted on her Instagram. That was, I mean, like I said, that was a pretty, unbelievable transformation.
Yes. Well, we have a great guy, Steven Spector, who wants to be a plastic surgeon. He's at Tulane. So we thought you could inspire him.
I'll try not to be like the doctor that tells don't go into medicine. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I think plastic surgery is like you transform and change so many people's lives, and not to be like a total, but you don't have to take insurance. So that's the good. Well,
it's
I hate to say that, but I know that sounds very superficial, and it's not.
Well, it's not in the sense that medicine is really
all the nonsense that has.
Medicine is very hard, and it's a challenge, and there are a lot of things that I don't have to deal with, because of it, and because insurance doesn't always pay. Like, I can sit in a room like when you're here, and I can talk to you and. Not only see how you're doing, but ask you about, anything, and shoot the breeze for a little while, because I'm not necessarily, on a 10-minute schedule, because I have 60 patients to see in one day. So there's definitely, some things that from that standpoint that definitely make it, nice. But the reality is you got to love what you do. And that's, there are people that, don't get paid a lot to do a job that they love to do.
Of course.
And that's really, you know, what it comes down to. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the perks. I won't complain.
It is. No, listen, people don't go. My old neighbor, Jeff Lipton, who I love, and I'm obsessed with him, and he's head of pediatric oncology at Long Island Jewish. I mean, I think he should be paid more than any sports star in the entire world. Mm-hmm. But it's just with insurance and this and that and doctors that, you know, are saving lives and this, you know, I think medicine has changed so much. I want to just talk about that 1 second, because Lexi's mother, you know, people bitch about the medicine in our country. I don't want to be sick anywhere else, and everyone complains about it, but tell them.
No, my mom literally had gallstones that got stuck in the duct, and it was a simple laparoscopic procedure that removed the gallbladder. She could have been in and out in a day here.
Right.
Instead, she got stuck in the hospital for 2 weeks, and they forgot to put her on a list one day. This is in England, so socialized medicine. So when everyone complains about insurance, they should think about this. You know, they left her there for 2 weeks, and then they finally decided they would try push the stone out of the duct with a camera. She got home. She had another attack last night, and she's on a waiting list
to have her gallbladder out.
To have a gallbladder out.
I mean,
it might be December.
Even if you didn't have it, even if you didn't have insurance here, and it was emergency surgery of your gallbladder out, they take it out.
Right. No, you're right.
People bitch nonstop about our, you know, the medical community here and doctors and insurance. I don't know one country it's better. I don't think you're on a wait list to get the smallest of stuff. So it's not perfect, but I don't want to be sick anywhere else.
No, I would like health insurance to be more readily available.
Yes, of course.
But when you call the doctor and they say, I could see you in 3 weeks, and then you say, well, I might not be sick then, and they say, tough shit, I'll see you in 3 weeks. That's the real, you know, the realistic thing of socialized medicine.
Yeah. Well, there's no perfect system, but yeah, I mean, a blend of, you know, there's definitely a happy medium, but it'll be a challenge to see if we ever get there.
Yeah, I know, but I'll just stay here for all my surgeries. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it. I'll be here. All right, so we'll get Steven.
Well, you know, you look awesome. You know, it was great seeing you today. I gotta say, before we bring Steven on, you look great, and I'm looking forward to seeing you this year on. Oh,
you're gonna be so happy. I'm showing the Marge Melons all over. You'll be very glad. I mean, Joe's not so happy considering I flashed them to the camera. He had a total nervous breakdown. Didn't talk to me the whole day, right, Lexi?
Yeah, that was a rough one. But you know, they look so perfect.
They look so perfect. I am so happy because one thing I was like, why didn't I freaking do this like 10, 15 years ago? Then I was like mad at myself because I suffered with the taping, the nonsense. It was so funny. Production even said to me, they were like, Marge, no more taping you in at the reunion. For me to get ready on all the events on the show, because I was the last woman standing with no breast surgery. They were taping me up. They were doing everything. I was the most annoying one to get ready. So this is like life-changing. Literally life-changing for me.
How fast can you get ready?
I get ready so fast. I just run right out of the house. I'm not obsessing over my outfits. I can't wear that. The bra's not right if I don't want to put a bra on. It's like so easy. This is what
you're giving the other ladies a run for their money now.
That's right. That's right. All right. You hear that, girls? Show up. You'll see with the Marge. All right. Dr. Joseph Michaels, this is Steven Spector.
Hey, Steven. How are you, buddy? Good.
So, Steven, did you like our conversation?
Loved every second of it. Honestly, it was really interesting. I'm a psychology major here at Tulane, and the link between psychology and plastic surgery is my motivation with it too. So that was definitely really interesting to hear as well.
Well, there you go. I was a psychology major and a biological basis of behavior major. So you know, again, it was for me, and I think it's, you know, you being able to connect with your patients and sort of have that empathy and that connection with them is really gonna, you know, go, you know, far, you know, with you and your patients for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the most important thing, right? You know, having that connection with, especially in aesthetics, having that connection with your patients and making them feel comfortable.
So do you have any questions I could answer?
Yeah. So what is your best piece of advice you can give to someone looking to go to med school and pursue plastic surgery?
So so it's sort of a loaded question. I guess obviously the first thing you gotta do is get yourself into med school and then worry about getting yourself into plastic surgery. So I think obviously, you know, there's obviously the core classwork that you have to do, and obviously doing well on your MCATs. So MCATs are basically your SATs to get into medical school. So that's what your goal has to be. And, obviously you want to be a well-rounded person. You don't want to be like super, focused. But I think, anything that you can do to bolster up your application while you're there, Tulane has a great medical center. So, somehow getting yourself connected, like either volunteering there, considering maybe doing like some summer research or things like that. Med school is very competitive. So, you really got to sort of try and, obviously grades are going to be helpful. But getting yourself somewhat connected, into the medical field, whether doing some research, even if you're just doing psychology research, things like that. These are all things that medical schools, want to see that you're interested in. The reality is like plastic surgery doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to, saying you want to go to med school and become a plastic surgeon, you may want to keep that on the, in the background, obviously, not to say that it's a bad thing or like a dirty word in medicine, but, again, I think, and look, the reality is right now you may have some exposure to plastic surgery and see some things, but in medical school, you're going to see a lot of things that, you may have not had exposure to. Like for me, I got really actually interested in radiology even just because they're just incredibly smart people that know an incredible amount of anatomy. They know like every differential diagnosis, meaning like what one thing could, if you have a finding, these are the 10 different things this could be. So there are a lot of different things that you're going to get exposed to. And I would just tell you to have an open mind when it comes to these things.
Super cool. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. One last question. So I know that you guys already kind of talked about this, but what would you say to a patient when you think they're coming in for the wrong reasons, like a cosmetic surgery? Have you ever had to like turn someone away or have that tough conversation with a patient?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think, when you're young in practice, like when I started off, it's really hard to, say no to people because the reality is, you're young, you have a practice, you've got a family to feed, other things like that. There's some patient that comes in, they may have been turned down before, they have the money, they're sort of ready to go, but you just don't get, the right feeling. I mean, I could tell you that I've operated, not a lot, but in the past, I've operated on some people that, there were probably some red flags that I look back on, and every single time I regret sort of doing it. But obviously, if it's someone that's very obvious, they're just unrealistic. They, you tell them what their results are going to be, and they're like, "No, I'm going to look like this," and like, "No, you're not. This is what the best thing to do is you never want to make anybody feel bad. I mean, I think for me, I just sort of tell them I'm just not the right doctor for you. I just don't think I can deliver the results that you want. And just be honest with them. I mean, back in the day, my old professor would say, well, just raise the price, make it like double the price. When people are desperate, or they've been turned down by 4 doctors and they'll be, oh, you'll do it? Sure. I'll give you whatever, they'll take out a loan. I mean, they'll sell their jewelry. I mean, whatever, so, you can sort of get burned. I think if I had to tell my older self, or if my older self could tell my younger self something when I was in practice, is that, stay true to your guns. Whenever I've sort of let a patient dictate what they want and what's going to happen, I've always regretted it. I think you just got to be true to yourself. You got to be able to say no. And it's not easy. It's not, I mean, look, one of the hardest things that I have to do sometimes, I have weight loss patients who come in, they lost like 100 pounds already, and they're still overweight. They still have some weight to lose. And I got to tell them they got to lose more. It's like, it's like gut wrenching to me to tell somebody like they're not ready because they've already done an incredible amount, but in their head, they have an idea. The problem is they have an idea, and sometimes they have an idea of what they want to look like. They have a vision. And so I'll give you a perfect example. So I have a lot of patients that come in and they want to, they're a little thicker. They like their curves, and they say, well, I want to look like Ashley Graham. And look, Ashley Graham is drop dead gorgeous. She, you know, she's like 5'9", a little over 200 pounds. She has a BMI, and which is something called body mass index, and we use that as a gauge of sort of a correlate of fat of like under 30. And we'll have some lady who comes in who's, you know, 5'2", 200 something pounds, and says, well, I go, look, we love curves. I love curves. You can ask Marge and you can ask Dolores. I'm all about curves. Curves are great.
Yes.
But, you know, patients, you know, when they're trying to compare themselves to someone who's like 5'9", and, you know, they're not, and that's the sort of look that they're going for, you just know, no matter what you do, you're going to set them up for failure, because what they picture in their head is not what you're going to be able to deliver. Yeah. So I think in the nicest way to tell people that, you know, you just don't think you're the right doctor. I don't think I can give you the results that you want. I mean, I think sort of making someone feel, you know, obviously, you know, you're not going to tell them like, you're unrealistic, this isn't going to happen. Like, you know, I'm sure some old school surgeons might say that, but you know, I mean, it's really just, you know, plastic surgery is like marriage, you know, you hope it's all good, but every once in a while you can have a little hiccup, a little problem. And it's about having trust. It's about having good communication, a good relationship, and things like that are going to sort of get you through some of those tougher, you know, periods, because plastic surgery isn't, you know, everything that you see on, you know, like E! News and Bravo and whatever, you know, I mean, so, you know, it's having that good relationship and that good foundation. So, and, you know, and being honest. So probably in my long-winded circling back to myself, just, you know, stay within your capabilities, do what you think you can do, and just be very honest with the patient, you know, because if any patient, like if I told any patient, I don't think I'm the right doctor for you, I'm not good enough to deliver the results, if they want to still come to you, like, they're crazy. That's like on them. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's what I would tell you. I mean, I think, you know, and when it comes to going to medical school and, you know, do what you love. I mean, you know, like if being a pediatrician and taking care of kids, like, look, it's definitely not the same pay scale as being a plastic surgeon, but like if taking care of kids every day is like what you love to do, then God, you know, take care of kids, you know, medicine is hard enough. So it's really just about finding your passion. You know, and the other thing I would tell you is, look, med school's gotten really hard to get into, so don't give up. I didn't get into medical school the first go around. I actually took a year off. I worked in the lab. I worked at Mount Sinai in New York City, which I know the ladies know pretty well, and bolstered up my reputation and did research and things like that, and got into med school, and, you know, the rest is history. But, you know, some people go out of the country, some people go, you know, to other countries to do it, or they'll go a DO route. You know, if your passion is to be a doctor, then you just find a way. You just find a way to do it. You know, don't get discouraged, because it can be a discouraging path and it's a hard path, but just, you know, you just stick with it. That's probably the best advice I could give you.
Super cool. Thank you for all the information. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Good luck down there.
All right. So you're still going to be a plastic surgeon. I know you.
I'm definitely going to be a plastic surgeon. You guys.
I wasn't trying to talk you. I wasn't trying to talk you out of it, but
that's my daily motivation.
Your daily motivation. Well, thank you, Stephen Spector.
Guys, appreciate it.
We'll see you soon. We'll talk to you soon. Stay safe in New Orleans. Yeah. My favorite city ever.
Love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Bye. That was such good advice.
Well, thanks.
That was
the advice I wish I got.
That was advice. It's true. It's true. Wait, now another question. Would you ever operate on your wife?
Probably. It depends. I mean, I would tell you, you know, when it comes to like bodies, like a tummy tuck, I probably would consider it if she wanted me to, just because I think I do like a really good job.
No, you do a great job.
If it comes to like breasts, to be honest with you, I'd probably let somebody else do it, because, you know, if she was too big or too small or whatever, like I just wouldn't want her to feel self-conscious, or I wouldn't want to feel self-conscious that she was a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, or like, oh, you're the wife of a plastic surgeon, you put in like really big breast implants because you're like, okay. You know what I mean? Like if that's what she wanted, like let her go to somebody else and you know what I'm saying? Like you know, I think if it's something that I would do better than somebody else, then if that's what she wanted, I would do it. If it's something that I think could equally be done by somebody else, I would probably like let a colleague do it, just to sort of separate myself, from that.
All right, so that makes sense. I don't know. I think I'd want if my husband was a doctor, though. I feel like I want you to do it, just because I would be like nervous to have someone else do it.
Oh my God! If I let my husband operate on me, God knows what I would get. I would get giant boobs, a giant booty. God knows what he wanted to do, not what I wanted.
I know. My husband wouldn't do anything. I'd look like shit, so no one else looks at me.
Well, he thinks you're perfect just the way you are.
Because I think he's going blind. I think that's the whole problem.
He needs a different surgeon.
Yeah, he needs a different surgeon.
You didn't get any clarity recently?
No, he's because I'm like, don't touch him yet. They're too hard. Don't touch my boobs yet. So he's just
he's probably a little unhappy because he can't properly take them for a full test drive. Once he could fully test drive them, he's going to be in heaven.
Yeah, no, he thinks he says they absolutely look amazing. He thinks they look great. I mean, he investigates them every 5 minutes.
But it's the carrot on the stick.
Yeah,
it's dangling right there, and
it's fine china. You can't touch it.
It's fine china. It's fine. Exactly. Don't touch it. I mean, listen, he was fondling Dolores the other night. He's sticking his hands in her butt. He's like, I was like, Joe. It just looks so absolutely amazing. Well, I'm so appreciative you came on. I just want everyone to know how to find you. I mean, I don't want to overwork you, but you are so amazing.
Well, thanks. Well, everyone can find me on Instagram at Dr. Joseph Michaels. I have a website, Joseph Michaels MD. Those are probably the easiest ways to find me. We're on Facebook as well. If you know how to use Google, you'll be able to find me.
Exactly.
And we'll put all the links up in the episode.
Yeah, we're going to put all the links up in the episode. This was so
great that the best.
You came on. I'm so appreciative, and I'm so grateful.
I
know. I'm like, I'm not doing anything else, but I feel like
I'm doing everything.
From the boobs up, I'm like, I look amazing, and I feel like now from the boobs down, but I'm going to try squats first.
No, you look great. I mean, honestly, I couldn't be happier for you. Like I said, your confidence was always high, but it's just really good to see you, and
I know exactly. That's a monster. It's not a good look. I had social areola before. Now, God knows what's going to happen.
Social sliders.
Social sliders, exactly. Cheeseburgers and social sliders. Well, thank you so much. This was the best. Okay,
you guys are awesome.
You're the best.
Have a safe trip back. Okay, I'll see you soon.
That was amazing.
Oh my God, he is so great. The emotional connection I think is so important because, like you said, people are very judgmental of people wanting to better their appearance, but it is an emotional thing.
Yes, everybody gets plastic surgery. It's not some vapid, stupid ass. I mean, he went into plastic surgery for emotional reasons. His mother had breast cancer, which was so touching the way he spoke about it.
Yeah.
And I loved it for the reconstructive reasons. And he's doing a lot of reconstructive surgery on people who've had tremendous weight loss. Yeah. And if it makes you feel better, women are especially women and men, there's a lot of men also, but women in particular are very, concerned about their body, their appearance. It is involved in their psyche, and he is helping the emotional aspect of women feeling better. So everybody's not a shallow bitch. It's not just about the outward appearance. It is true. Your outward, when you look better, you feel better.
I agree.
And I'm not saying everybody should look alike and not grow old gracefully.
Do what's right for you.
Do what's right for you. I don't want everyone to look alike. I just want to be refreshed.
The best version of yourself.
Yes. And by the way, Dr. Joseph Michaels is a great man. He's worth the wait. He traveled to Maryland to meet with him. He will give you extra care. So if you have any body issues, anything you need fixed on your body, he's your guy. If you need facial surgery, Dr. Karolak is your guy. And if you need your teeth done, Dr. Oppa is your guy. Just saying.
That's the
glow up. That's the glow up. Full rounded glow up. Amazing.
We're giving you everything you need to be your best self.
Yes.
And I think we should all just take a moment to be kind also to each other.
Yes. And by the way,
enough on our own bodies without being mean to each other. So
exactly.
Just be nice.
And go to therapy, because I'm all about a good therapy session too.
Yeah. Look good, feel good, act good. Don't be a dickhead. That's my new motto at the moment. Just don't be a dickhead.
Yeah, don't be a dickhead.
If everyone was not a dickhead, this world would be such a better place.
I agree. be a better place. Be beautiful on the inside too.
That's right.
Okay. Well, Caviar Dreamers, keep dreaming.
And apply to us if you have someone that if you have a dream that you want to fulfill, DM us, let us know. Maybe we have an upcoming dream that we could match you with.
Exactly. Or if you want to refer someone to come on our podcast, we would love it.
Yeah. So keep dreaming. You can find us at Caviar Dreams Tuna Fish Budget on YouTube and Instagram. She's at The Real Margaret Josephs. I'm at The Life of Mrs. B. Keep dreaming.
Keep dreaming, Caviar Dreamers.